Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned into the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliot Pierre, and we're going to start this off the same way we start off every show, with some gratitude. I want to thank everybody at home for watching, tuning in, may it be live and or the recorded version. It warms my heart that you have chosen to spend your time with us, because I know you could be doing a million other things. So thank you very much. Now, on that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cotton, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, and we're back. Today's going to be a banger. I actually love talking to this guy. Every time we sit together, we kill hours of time. We're both loud talkers, so you're going to have to turn down the volume on your phone. But this is going to be a good one. I don't ever introduce my guests because they do a better job at doing that themselves. So on that note, sir, can you please tell the people who you are and what you're about?
Sure. My name is Bob MacKay. I'm a happily married dad of two wonderful kids. My son is a haul truck operator up at one of the major sites up here, and my daughter currently, due to COVID, is looking for something to do, but dad's supporting her, and I have two awesome grandchildren, and been living here for a while, and like right now, currently working at Superior Propane as a market manager for the region, so.
There you go. Very cool. So yeah, you've been in this community for a very long time now.
Yes, sir, yeah.
You love it here.
I do. You know, it's big story with me is I'm originally from Halifax, and I was a fly in, fly out. I was a FIFO.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I realized that it made sense to live here. And I'll give you a little piece of the story behind that if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So I was at the Halifax airport getting ready to fly out here to come to work. And my little girl, she had a dance recital the next day. And anyway, long story, short story, we were at the airport and she told me that she hated me. So anyway, I got on the plane, this big dude got on the plane crying.
Yeah.
So I landed in Toronto and I said to my wife, we have to make a decision. Are we going to live in Halifax or am I going to land in Fort McMurray, quit my job and come home? And landed in Fort McMurray, called her up. She said, we're already starting to pack. So that was the story. And we landed here the day after her birthday on December 17th. So yeah, it was quite a change, but you know what? I don't regret it a bit. This is an amazing little town.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that, because back my previous past, I was in human resources, and it was one of those things where we were a company that had the two options. If you were doing maintenance work, you had to live in Fort McMurray.
Yeah.
If you were doing shutdown work, totally understandable, fly in, fly out. But we had some guys every once in a while who would say, like, you know what, I'm going to do the fly in, fly out. I'll do turnarounds. I can make it work. I'm like, it's tough on your family. Your family life is going to diminish right away. May it be if you're single, like when I say single, I mean without children. If you're you and your partner, and or if you have kids, this is going to be tough. And based on the age that you're at, you're not going to be able to pull this off successfully for 30 years.
No, it's and it's amazing. One of the hardest things I had with doing the FIFO thing, I became a stranger in my own home.
That's right.
Because my wife, to a point, she had to become the single mom. So, I'd go home and I had one story sticks in my head. I'll never forget. My son was on the counter climbing up to get cookies out of the cupboard. I came in and I yelled at him, Robert, get down. And he looked at me and started to cry. I said, but Dad, Mom lets me. And that there was like, I was like, oh my gosh.
You don't know the house rules.
I don't know the house rules.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake one time when I was home and I told somebody I came home to visit. And my wife said, excuse me? So like all those little telltale signs.
Yeah. You better move to Fort Mac quick.
Yeah.
So then you moved your family out here and then you raised your children.
Yeah, so we've been here for 12 years.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things that I really love about this community is really when I first came here. I tell you, when I first came out here when I did the FIFO thing, I really compared Fort McMurray to a big camp. Because it was, the old oil can and stuff like that. They were going down. I spent a couple nights there, but just still, it was just all these guys working because we're all here to build what is today, right? So
right.
Anyway, but when I brought my family out here, got my daughter involved in dance, where she carried over actually from dance from Halifax, and the opportunities it afforded my son. He started with scaffolding, and just it gave them both such good direction, areas to go. But with the dance thing, I was able to immerse myself into dance. I actually have a tattoo that says Dance Dad. and I was so heavily immersed in the dance world, and still am to this day. Like I still communicate with everybody there. And we really think a 300-pound guy that's into dance, right?
Right.
But no, it's just this community is. I don't know. You hear people complain about different things, but I like to find something that would compare it to make it any better. Like I mean, it's so family based. There's so many things here that I think is just amazing.
That's right. No, that's awesome, man. So when you came here, this is something we share in common. What company were you working with?
Started with Everready.
There you go.
And I'll tell you, I got to tell you a little funny story about Everready. So when I got the job with Everready, I was still living in Nova Scotia. And anyway, long story short story, I applied for work, and the guy called me up and said, "We want to hire you as a manager for pigging." I said,
Right.
"What the hell is pigging?"
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to see? So anyway,
Yeah.
they flew me out, and I landed, and then so I met the Wally Dumont, who was the president of the company. And so anyway, he took me for a drive down to Red Deer, and he said, "So Bob," he said, I'd like you to meet your crew." He said, "I want you to actually be one of the crew managers." So, okay, cool.
Yeah.
My background back in Nova Scotia, I was in the safety world and working with teams and all over the Maritimes, right? So I went there, and then I said, "So I got to tell you, what is this pigging thing?" So anyway, they quickly taught me. But the crazy thing is,
Yeah.
when I went to Red Deer, I was the only Maritimer that worked for them
What?
in Red Deer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they were like, "Who's this stranger coming in?"
That's okay.
So I was like, "Wow, that's neat." But
That is neat. Yeah, I used to work for Everready, now Clean Harbors. I did human resources for them.
Oh, right on.
Like I started off doing training and just process mapping at the time. That's how long ago this was.
Yeah.
Like what the training looked like for them in regards to like, oh, you have to do CSTS, you have to do H2S Alive, putting that together. And then I moved up into recruitment. And then my job turned into like full-time recruiter. I would literally live like 2 weeks in Fort McMurray, 2 weeks in the East Coast.
Yeah.
And recruit people back to work in Fort
We
McMurray.
could have met.
We could have. We might have.
We
We
may
might have. I did it for 3 years back and forth. I can honestly say I probably interviewed over 5,000 people over that stretch and brought back at least minimum 1,000 people.
Oh yeah,
Like
easy.
So yeah, great company. I got nothing but love for Clean Harbors now. Everready back in the day, but yeah, vac truck, water truck, pigging.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good company.
Yeah, I spent 9 years there.
9 years, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many years I spent there. I started when I was 22, and I was there about 3 or 4 years. 3 or 4 years, yeah. They were great. Like, yeah, Carmela Forbes.
Yeah,
you know Carmela
Forbes?
Forbes?
I know Carmela, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
That's my partner in crime.
I bumped heads a few times.
Yeah. So Carmela, she was my boss.
Was that right?
Carmela was my boss. She was the head of human resources
Yeah.
for Fort McMurray. She started after I did. Phenomenal boss. And then her boss was Carolyn Hoffman.
Yeah, I know Carolyn as well.
So it was. So me and Carmela used to be on the road, and we need a segment, Tanner. Just so you got to clip this up. I am not going to tell any of mine and Carmela's road stories, but
you should not.
boy, oh boy, like she was the best. She
Yeah.
taught me a lot about human resources. She taught me even more about how to handle myself on the road, leisurely and professionally. True mentor. Obviously, when you're in human resources, you're going to butt heads with operations, but
Absolutely, yeah.
I have nothing but love and positivity for that woman. So Carmela Forbes, you are the best.
I tell you, it's when I look back at the HR days of like when this, and I'm talking in hardcore oil field stuff.
Right.
Like
right.
today, like I don't know, today I don't want to lighten the load of today, but back then we didn't have the compressed work weeks. We had guys working, like I'll tell you, when I first started with Everett, I was working 9 weeks on.
Right.
And I go home for like 4 or 5 days. Bob, you got to come back. So anyway, HR, I do got to give them props because I mean the things they had to put up with just to fill the seat.
Yeah.
Because there was such a huge demand. And then we saw the guys coming in, and all of a sudden you'd see them all go, like the ones they just slowly trickle out, and they'd be pushed out the door because they just couldn't handle the environment, right?
That's exactly it, and that's why I had to go back so much. We were constantly like, people were coming in and leaving almost as fast as I could fly to the East Coast, and but it was a culture thing, and we built a culture, and all of a sudden you saw the retention. But yeah, it was tough being in human resources back in the boom, where you needed like warm bodies, and they knew it.
You got a heartbeat? Yep. Good.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. Yeah, you can be a swamper today.
Yeah.
So okay, and then from there you went to which company next?
Clearstream.
Clearstream, and
Yeah.
you were there for quite some time. I think that's how I first
That's how you
became
and I
aware
first
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was actually we were going through some challenges at Clean Harbors. So my job at Clean Harbors, my last position with Clean Harbors, I overseen all the operations at CNRL Horizon.
Mm.
So CNRL Horizon took a different direction, and they brought a different group in, and so Clean Harbors found me another role, but it just wasn't for me, if you want to call it that.
Right.
So anyway, but I never left. So it actually left there on really good terms with Clean Harbors. But when I did leave, it's kind of a weird thing. So I had an interview with the COO of Clearstream, and he told me, he said, Bob, he said, we have a real problem at Syncrude, significant safety issue to the point that we may be removed from site if we have one more incident.
Right.
I need you to fix it. And he said, I understand you're a pretty heavily safety guy. You're into that, making sure it happens. So anyway, yeah, he said, but I will tell you this. He said, if you're not successful, unfortunately, you will be unemployed.
Yeah.
So I went home and I told my wife, still had the job at Clean Harbors, and told the wife the kind of the challenge that was set before me. And she said, you want this, don't you? And I said, damn right I do. So
Yeah.
so that's where my career at Clearstream started. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was quite a, for me, it was an exciting time. Climbed the ladder quite quick. Was there as general manager initially, and then about a year and a half after that, I went to vice president of Wood Buffalo, and then I went to level of vice president of what they call heavy oil, which was everything from Lloydminster to Edmonton to Fort McMurray. So
Yeah.
it was a good run. I really enjoyed it there. Good bunch of people. But like
Yeah.
anything, time runs by and things change, and
Change.
time to move on.
Yeah. There's no such changes in good or bad. It just is.
Yeah, and it's constant as well.
That's right. Well, that's what I love about you, Bob, is like your attitude in regards to life in general is super positive, and you recognize like, hey, it is what it is. Let's just keep moving on, stay professional, put a smile on my face, and like conquer the next challenge.
And you got to, you know what, honestly, man, you got to maintain it because, like, for instance, when my time came to leave Clearstream, to this day, so that was in 2018, and
Yeah.
to this day, I still chat with pretty much everybody. It was very professional, and when I left, I shook the CEO's hand, and I said, man, I said, decisions had to be made, and I said, I don't hold any personal feelings about this, and that's one of the things I think a lot of people got to realize, especially in these times, if you're in a position where you're about to be laid off or let go or something like that, it's not personal. And if it is personal, it's probably because of you.
Right.
But otherwise, it's not personal. These people are making extremely tough decisions.
Right.
And nobody enjoys saying, you don't have a job anymore.
That's right. It's
So
heartbreaking.
it is. And so I've learned a long time ago that move on. It's easy. And one of the things that if you actually really look at my profile, basically, like you can go on LinkedIn, check
Go
that
on
out.
LinkedIn, check them out.
Yeah. You'll notice that I don't have two of the same jobs.
Right.
I've
Yeah.
always went to something new.
That's correct.
And
Different industries.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've jumped completely, and it's because I love new adventure, man. I just truly love new adventure.
Yeah.
So that's where I got me where I am today.
Yeah. So I want to skip over because this is time and we could talk for hours. So you can gloss over it quickly. You went somewhere next, but I want to talk about where you are next because I haven't spoken to you since you started your new role. So I'm
Yeah.
more excited about that. So are you okay with us skipping in the middle?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool. What are you doing now?
So the role here at Superior Propane. So I am the in my world, like if you an oil sands world, we would call it the regional manager for operations.
Okay.
But in the Superior world, they call it a market manager. So in the market, my market is basically all of RMWB. So right down to as far south as Conklin, up to Fort Chipewyan. So
Okay.
I oversee. We have a service and bulk division, so we deliver as well as install and what have you. So I oversee our group of guys here and a group of gals and oversee the whole business up here. So it's been fun so far because again learning something brand new.
Right.
Never dealt with propane in my life except by turning on my barbecue. But the things I've learned so far, the staff are phenomenal. They really helped me learn the it's of propane, but and even getting to know the people. Like I was telling Tanner earlier when we first came in that spent some time at Fort Chipewyan and I would never have had a reason to go there before, and now I do, and I've met a few people. Spoke with Chief Alan Adam a few times, and spoke with the counselor up there, and she's been awesome. And
Cool.
yeah, so it's just giving me an opportunity to really expand another off the bucket list, right? So
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have a question, but I'm gonna wait because we have a segment. It's called the Mac City Minute.
okay,
This is Tanner's. He asks 5 questions. I don't know what he's ever gonna ask, so best of luck to you.
okay.
Tanner, hit him with the Mac City Minute.
Alrighty. Question number 1 for you today. What is one way people may not know propane is used?
As a refrigerant.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a thing called unstenched propane, otherwise known as R290, that they use it as a refrigerant.
Did not know that.
There you go.
Question number 2. What is it like working both at site and in town for one company?
It is a challenge. Like we talked about when I came in here, everybody sees the goatee. This is disappearing tonight because I got to head to site tomorrow. So little challenge like that, but it is a cool balance. And like again, living in Fort McMurray, it is a neat balance to have, for sure.
Question number 3. What is your favorite way to spend an evening in Fort McMurray?
Pre-COVID, campfires. I'm gonna be out there and just spend in my backyard, have the fire pit going like that there, and having folks over to the house and stuff, and having a few bevies around the fire and stuff. And yeah, the wife and I used to frequent the movie theater as well. It's a common thing with us. But right now we're just getting back into the open restaurants, which we're dabbling everyone, right? So
Nice. There you go. You got to.
Question number 4. What is your favorite type of dance?
tap dance. I actually tap danced for a couple of years. So I have
Nice.
size 13 tap shoes at home. So
Okay.
yeah.
And your final question. What was the best part of moving your family to Fort McMurray?
The best part, I think, just straight up, is the cultural part of it. We really, in Nova Scotia, weren't really taught much. My kids, and not even myself, I could tell you, I didn't learn much about anything in regards to the Indigenous part of our country. And I think truly, for both my kids coming out here and just seeing the way that works and how it should work, it's been a tremendous thing. So that's probably, I'd say, one of the biggest gifts to my family by coming here, is just gaining that kind of awareness of how Indigenous rights and everything have been compromised, and how we're trying to take that back and help them out, right? So that's, I'd say, probably the biggest thing.
Those have been your 5 questions.
Cool. My sister is going to love that. My sister, Alicia, big shout out. She watches every show.
Right on.
She's our editor, actually. Every time we have a show, she calls and says, this went well, this didn't. Fix it. So she's watching.
Sounds like a sister.
Yeah. She's a tap dance instructor.
Right on. She probably
Yeah.
knows my daughter then.
Maybe, yeah. She lives in Calgary now, so maybe not. But she grew up here, went through everything, and she's taught in South America, actually, as a
gosh,
tap
wow.
instructor. So she
Wow.
teaches in Calgary, and I'm going to get in trouble because I don't know the dance studio's name. Sorry. But yeah, and she loves to teach adults. She says they're the best. They're the funnest, I should say.
I will tell you this, man. If you ever want to work out, I know that you do your jogging on your treadmill and what have you like that there, but
Yeah.
when you have to be on tap, you got to be on your toes a lot,
That's
follow your
right.
feet a lot. And I tell you, when you're my body size and you got to be propped up all the time, I came home and I just straight to the shower.
Now, what I want to talk about, because we're running out of time, I know we are, but you, and I don't know if you're still doing it, but you were doing what I would constitute as the most romantic couple building, I'll call it exercise, ever with your wife last time we spoke. And I loved it.
Don't remind me, my goodness.
So she was doing, I want to say it was skip the dishes.
Yes.
And you would go, she was doing skip the dishes, and you would go with her just so you guys could spend time in the
Yeah.
car together and chat.
Yeah, that's true.
This is the best story ever. Please elaborate on how this all transpired. Because honestly, when you told me this, I'm like, now that is love. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife, she's been a stay-at-home mom. And that's part of our relationship. She's always been the mom at home, right? So anyway, she just said, look, Bob, I want to make a little bit of cash on my own. So anyway, I think everybody knows that skip the dishes, you make your money at night.
Right.
So anyway, working during the daytime, I'd come home and she'd leave. And so anyway, I said to Stan, how we spend some time together? So it literally was that thing she said, what do you mean? I said, I'll drive, but let's just hang out, And so anyway, long story short story, that's where it evolved to, is just having a chance to hang out and really chat and whatever like that there. And it was really good because it almost then, but it's kind of fun because then it became an expectation. But no, it was, man. It was just, I don't know, we've been married, we've been together, married for 28 years and married for 30, or together for 30, married for 28.
Right.
And I love the lady. She's an awesome gal. And we just, to this day, we still get along phenomenal, right? Just we have fun. And that was just one of the fun things to do, just to hang out together and just, I don't know, just one of those things, just to spend time with your wife there. And all we had was the car stereo and each other, right? So
That's right.
It's cool.
No, it's beautiful. And if that's not a story that Skip the Dishes should pick up, I don't know what is. So yeah, I don't prepare for my interviews at all for everybody at home.
Yeah.
It's off the dome. I never write anything
I can
down. I
attest to
don't send
that,
it
yeah.
out. But that was one I had in the memory bank. It's like, he's got to tell that story.
Yeah.
So on that note, Bob, we're done, my man. So before I
Wow.
cut you loose, this is your
Time
shameless
flies.
plug. It is. I want you to tell the people at home once again who you are, what you're about, and just give a little shine to your current organization.
Sure. Again, it's Bob MacKay, longtime resident. Just love living here in Fort Mac. Work for Superior Propane. You've got your tanks, your 20-pounders, your barbecues there. They know the season's coming up. We're open Monday to Friday from 8:15 to 3:45. Really good price. I forget what it is now, to be honest with you, but it's cheaper than those racks at the gas station. Let me put it that way. So we're bringing that way there, and we can help you out with that there. We got the parts area as well. You can, if you need to hook up any hoses or whatever, you have all the parts. So, and you'll find too coming in our gal there. She's a great person at the parts counter. She'll help you out, no problem. So thanks a lot for this today.
Yeah, no
love
worries,
chatting
man.
with you. You know, you love chatting with you, and it's just got to hear. But
Yeah.
I look forward to it next time.
Yeah, good time to catch up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so come back again and again. That's
Yeah,
what the show's
absolutely.
for. Sweet. All right, well, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world, that's been another show in the tank. Once again, thank you very much. It warms my heart for everybody that's tuning in. So hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.